Hey y'all, so just got a brief video for you today. I just want to show you what's going on out here before the rain comes back. Is that, does that look like, hold on. I'm trying to wipe that off. I'm not really sure why it looks like that. And it might just be because I need to wipe what I'm looking at off. But anyway, yeah, so it's still been rainy. We did have a few days without rain. And then it picked back up. So I'm going to show you what's happening out here, and we're going to talk some more about this rain, okay? I'm just going to show you the garden spaces. I'm not going to go through the flower beds, I don't think. I don't think we're looking at the flower beds today. All right, so let's look. Okay, so we're over here. This is, the cabbage, as you can see right there. Kale, squash, pumpkins, and the dahlia. Look, it's got thrips in it again. So that's one of the dahlias. Some more kale. This one back here looks okay. Now this stuff, the green looks a little better on my screen than it looks in person. So that isn't quite as deep as it looks on my screen right now, but yeah. But you can see how light these look. And this one. So this is going to be a recurring theme. I'll just say it now. This rain has been a lot on the stuff out here. Let's have, clay soil. And hold on. Okay, sorry. It's like I came out here and started recording, and all the loud things, I was gonna say fast, all the loud things just started driving through. Okay. Oh, look who showed up while we were paused. But yeah, this rain has just been a lot on the garden. So some things are doing okay. Some things are just kind of stalled out. So it is what it is. Not really anything I can do about that. You can see the watermelons. I actually came out here a few days ago and thinned these out. So I think I have 2 or 3 right here, and then like 2 or 3 right there, and then same over here. Look at this. So I think we're gonna have to stick with trying to do fall plantings on this, because this sized up really nicely, and then it did this. So that's not really gonna work out. And you see that one over there, it already has a little head, so those just aren't gonna work. There's nothing on that one right now. But yeah, I might leave it out here and see what the side shoots do. I don't know if somebody's shooting or if somebody's vehicle just backfired. Oh, they got their mower over there. I think it was the lawnmower. Okay, yeah, so I might just pull this out. Well, let's just do that now. Take that out. And it'll push some side shoots like down here in those spaces. You see, like, that's already growing down there. And I might be able to do kind of like a broccolini kind of situation, or just some little heads off of that. And I probably could have went ahead and pulled this earlier before it started really trying to form flowers, and just had a really small head to eat. But yeah, I think we're gonna have to just stick with trying the fall plantings with the broccoli and cauliflower. Well, anyway, that's that. I'm gonna go here next because this was planted around the same time. Well, this was planted, this is older than the other stuff, so I'm gonna go here next. So we got the corn. We had some beans on the corners that were the beans that I did at first, but I came back in and put beans in spaces and on the sides. So I got some beans down the sides. This is all bush beans that's in here with the corn. So yeah, so like those two were here first. And I just don't really know why they didn't do well. Same over here. I got one right there and one right here that were here first. And then I have some others just in and around that I added in. But, the corn, it kind of moved a little slow initially with all the rain. But, and I made a comment on somebody's video. It's a farmer not too far from where I am, has a YouTube channel, and I follow them, and I was just like, I know over here, not just my personal corn, but just even the fields, I can see where when we had just like one day without rain, it shot up a couple inches. Like as soon as the corn gets a little break from the rain, it just shoots up. So the corn has enjoyed that rain. Now we'll move over here. We have the tomatoes. The tomatoes are actually doing okay. And y'all know they were kind of squatty. And I said this, I think in the video where I talked about them before, how I have learned that with me starting them inside, once I put them in the ground, they do a whole lot better than they do just with me starting them off. So they'll look like they'll be kind of small, you know, whatever. But once I put them in the ground, they take off. And that's been a pretty consistent thing. So I wasn't too worried about how small they were when I put them out, because I have learned that once they're in the ground, they do really well. So there are the tomatoes. We got some flowers out here. This is actually the first that I've seen this. Like that right there, that looks like that's going to be a fasciated bloom right there, or blossom. So actually, I'll go ahead and take that off. We're just going to take it off now. I don't want to mess around with a whole lot of those this year. But yeah, you see, there are a bunch. There are a bunch on there. There's a bunch on the top of this one. But in this, like I said, this is the first that I've been out here since they've been blooming. So I hadn't seen these blooms before now. Let's see, let me turn you around. Okay, I don't think I can really mess with the focus on the front camera too much. Well, you see that? Yeah, so that's what those are doing. So we got a lot of grass and stuff coming out here, and I have been out here with that stirrup or hula hoe and cleaned this out. All these spaces, I've gone over them at least a couple times. And we got some more. Let's see if I can. It's gonna have to be upside down if I try to get it. Let's see. I can't see what you're looking at. Hopefully that's a good shot. That looks kind of big, so I don't know if that's gonna be a regular bloom or not. So we'll just see what that does. Sorry, we'll see what it does. For now, I'm gonna leave it. And I'm carrying this around. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. And I did put some beans and cucumbers out over here. If you remember, I just kind of put them in just to cover this up. Let it kind of be my ground cover here. A few of these cucumbers are growing pretty well. You know, I have like, I think this might be the only one that's a little further back. Most of them are just like, are in this line across the front. And that's just stuff growing on the back side. I have put some calendula seeds out. I went and bought some more calendula seeds because I talked about moving some of those from the other space over here where they reseeded from last year. But I went ahead and just bought some. So I have some calendula seeds, but I also have some nasturtium seeds out here too. I don't know if I really see any of those. Well, there's one. There's a nasturtium. Yeah, I don't know if I really see any more of them out. And there weren't a whole lot of seeds in the pack for that though. All right, and we'll look at this space. Those are some of the first okra that I put out, or maybe that one right there too. Or this one. I don't know. Definitely those two. And then these others that you see are ones I put out later when I went and bought some other seeds. And I was telling you I wanted a red, but they didn't have red in the store. So I got one that said it's some kind of long variety. So that's what those younger ones are. And then again, those tomatoes that I just popped in because I had them. These are marigolds that popped up in the flower bed. They were right on the edge of the flower bed too. So I pulled them all out and moved them around. So I got a few of them over here. And then here's the pepper side. Kind of the same thing with the peppers as with the tomatoes. They haven't really taken off as much as the tomatoes, but they also haven't been out as long as the tomatoes. Yeah. And they aren't loving that all the water either. But I have since put Did I show y'all when I did this? Anyway, I put these poles in that I put the beans on. Someone's eating all those beans. I did put some, I did the diatomaceous earth. I keep some of that, and I usually use it for ants around the garden. I put some of that on here, but you know, it's rained since then, and I've also watered since then. You see a little bit of it on this one. See that white on there? I don't know if you can really see it, but yeah, so I put some of that on there because I don't actually know what's eating on these. I haven't seen anything on it to be able to tell you what's doing it. But I mean, as long as it doesn't eat like the growth point out, it'll be fine that it's losing some leaves. Cantaloupe, and that's just from saved seeds. And then, you know, I got a tomato down here that I just happened to put the cantaloupe seed way too close to, and then the other 2 tomatoes down there. Oh, eggplants as well. All right, let's go look at something else. Here's the pea area. I was gonna say pea spot, but yeah, here's where I have the peas. They are pretty much done. They're pretty much done. They will, some of them are pushing some more growth from the base. You see this one has a flower. It's got some flowers on it. But yeah, I figured they were done, so I mean, that's fine. I would normally put cucumbers on this trellis, but since I have so many planted with the tomatoes, I'm not gonna bother with that. Over here, now I did put some of my sweet pea seeds in, and I see, hold on, one coming up right there. There's one coming up right there, and these are the flower. These are just for flowers. These are not for eating. It's one right, there's 2 right here, and one down here. So got a few of those coming up. I also have potatoes in this bed. Now I haven't shown you the potatoes this year because I'm doing a separate video, like a start to finish video of the potatoes, so I don't really want to show it to you like throughout the season and then still show you a video of them as well. So I'll show you the potatoes at harvest time. Okay, over here, this is covered up. Let's see, I tried to do some late season carrots and stuff in here. I don't know if they're gonna come up, but I have some of those over here, so just kind of looking to see if I see any, and I don't. That is butternut. So any squash looking stuff you see in here is butternut squash. There's a bunch of stuff in here that's gone to seed. That right there, that's parsley. Over there on the other side, that's either radishes. I know some of them are radishes because I saw the base of it, and there are turnips still in here too, so it's a combination of the 2. Look at the basil. I've been picking the tops off of these basil plants to try to keep them going. See that lettuce in there, and got a beet right here, then got a beet on the other side, or maybe, no, I already took that one out from the other side. There's some kale in here as well. That's a beet right there. You see that dark red? That's a beet. And then here, this is the biggest of the squash plants, and it's already got some flowers on it. I'm keeping this covered up, and I do, like I said, I have kale in here. I don't know how well you can see right there. But I do have kale in here, so that's the main reason that this is covered up. I put the dill out here too. I'm trying to remember what else is in here. That might be it. I put some more beet seeds out at the same time that I put those carrot seeds in. So we'll see what happens with that as well. But I'm keeping this covered up, knowing that the squash is going to need pollinating. Now, for now, that doesn't matter. It's not at the point that it needs it yet. It does have flowers, but as is usually the case, so far I only see male flowers on here. That's basically what happens with my stuff. I don't know if that's a general thing. Y'all can let me know if yours does that, but mine always puts on male flowers first. And that being the case, and it'll put on quite a few male flowers before they start producing female flowers. So with that being said, I don't really have to worry about the pollination part right now. And when I start seeing female flowers on here, At some point I will uncover this because the plant will be big enough that it'll be able to hold its own without insect protection. But I could also keep it on and just open it up and hand pollinate it, which is really easy to do with squash plants because the flowers are so big and there's usually a good number of them. So we'll just see what I want to do when that time comes. Look at that basil. It's got some little sprouts down at the bottom. I'm glad that basil is hanging on for now at least. All right, let's go to the other space. So I'm over here now, but I wanted to kind of talk about this on my way over. But that bed, I want to say that space didn't do as, hey, what happened right there? I don't know what's happening over here. I'm going to show you that in a second. That space didn't have as hard a time with the water because that is a raised bed, which is part of the reason why I did raise beds back there, because that is on the lower part. Now the other fenced in spaces, they're on the slope. So the lower end is on the end where the water really kind of sits. It sits a little bit, whatever. The end stays wetter. But yeah, those beds have been, make sure I'm not stepping in ants or anything. Look at that bee. There's a bee on this clover. And I don't have shoes on. So that's why I'm pointing that out. Because I have to watch where I'm walking when I don't have shoes on. But yeah, so those spaces, I feel like they didn't do too bad with all the water. The potato bed, I was a little nervous about that because, I mean, obviously it's a pretty good risk of them rotting with that staying so wet. And those beds do hold water. They still hold a good bit of moisture, but they did fine though. So this actually might be the best that the potatoes have done for me so far. And I did change my planting method with that, and I'll talk about that when that video comes. But this area over here, I want to say this space had the hardest time with all the water. Birds are over here flying around in the border and chasing each other, making a bunch of noise. It kind of startled me. But yeah, so the beds over here had the hardest time, I would say. Let me just show you. So, we have onions, some extra onions on the end. I only have maybe 1 or 2 on this end now. Let's see. Well, 3. 1, 2, and then 3. See, that, and that. So the ones on this side didn't really do great. There are a few others over here too, and then one back there, and another dahlia. I have dahlias on both sides in this space over here. So that one over there, and then this one over here. This is a pink and white or purple and white or something. Then the one over here, that's that big purple one. It's like lavender thyme or something like that. And yeah, so the onions over here are okay. They're still really small, but they're there. I think I did cabbage out here in these spaces on these front beds. Those cabbage, the bigger ones, those are from the fall. Those are the ones I had out here that were covered up over the winter, and so they're just now like really heading up. So I'll have like some waves of cabbage. So I'll have these older ones that I can actually just go ahead and start cutting whenever I'm ready, because I don't need them really big. And I also don't usually get varieties that get really large just because I don't need big heads. So I have those, and then see that wasp flying around. Anyway, I have those, and then I have some of the smaller stuff, and then whatever this is, I think I did broccoli and cauliflower in these side beds. They'll probably end up going ahead and sprouting early like this one, but so far none of them have. They're just kind of they've struggled with the moisture over here, so they are further behind. But yeah, that celery, there's still celery in here. There are a few beets. Those, whoa, what's over here? It's probably a rabbit. Let's see. I know it had a bird. Something really just moved over here. I don't know if y'all heard that on the, I don't know if the phone picked that up or not. I doubt it's a bird, which, I mean, they'll get down here, especially baby birds. They fall out of a nest somewhere or something. It was probably up under the leaves over here on the back side. I don't see anything. I can't really maneuver with. I don't see anything, but something definitely made some noise moving over here, so it wasn't a bug. I don't know. If I see it, I'll show you, but right now I'm not sure what that was. Could have been a frog or something too, but anyway, something's around here, which is probably what caused what I'm about to show you that I was looking at earlier. But okay, what was I saying? Yeah, I have a few beets in here, and that's another one of the things that hasn't really liked the moisture, the extra moisture in these beds. I didn't net this stuff. I took the netting out to net it, and the insect netting, and I'm saying that because you can see the damage on these, but by that time, I mean, I just didn't get to it. I didn't take the time to do it, so it didn't get done. You got this celery right here that's going to seed, and I've just left it. And yeah, now let's look at this back here. Okay, now I did clear this out. I cleared this out, but this is absolutely the wettest bed and out of all of my spaces. So even though I cleared it out, whatever this grass is that grows back here in the back of my yard, it likes all that water. And so I cleaned all this out, and that grass is back. And that's not even Bermuda. That's not Bermuda grass. That's something that it's just growing. Like, it's not rhizomal or anything. But yeah, it likes this water. You know what else likes the water? The hibiscus. The hibiscus is loving this, and that's why I put it back here, because I knew the space would stay wet, at least for a period of time. It would be wet without me having to water them excessively. Now, I don't know what's happening over here. I don't know why this is laid down like that. Now, I saw, is that the same one or is that another one? Okay, that's another one. So this branch right here, I don't think that's the branch that I saw originally. The one that's leaning on the fence, that's the one I saw before. So that's been like that for at least a couple of weeks. This one, that's new, and that's new. So what I was just saying about whatever that noise was I heard over by the cabbage, I'm thinking that might be what did this. Because I don't know. I don't know what's been moving around in here to the point that it's breaking these off, like hitting them or stepping on them or something. And I mean, it could just be weak because it might be too wet for it. I don't know. But the other one isn't doing that, which is why I don't think it's got anything to do with the ground or the growth conditions. I think something is bothering it. But back to what I was saying, I cleared this out and I put some flower seeds in here. So you see zinnias, sunflowers. I put one of those mixes out here that I bought. So I have some stuff growing in here, and I was just gonna kind of let it do that. And the fact that all this grass has came up is just one more reason for me to just let it do what it wants, because I'm not gonna keep clearing this out, because with the way this stuff is growing, because of all the moisture, the only thing I could really do would be to cover it up. Like, I mean, when I say I cleaned it out, I cleaned it. So this stuff that's coming up, I don't know if it was from seeds that dropped in here, like that right there. I don't think that's the same kind of grass as whatever that is, but it could be. I don't know, but yeah, it's just been bad. Here are some more of the marigolds. I think there might be two on that side over there. So one right there, one right there. See 3 in the middle. 3. And then it's 2 or 3 over here. One there and a smaller one back in there. So that's where I put the rest of those marigolds that I pulled out. And yeah, I mean, it's just going to kind of be a flower space, at least for this year. I think after this year, after this growing season, I'm going to cover this up. I'll get something. I'm not sure what. I don't know if I want to get like tarps or anything like that for such a small space. But I'm going to cover this over and try to just reset it. Which I really hate to do that, because part of the reason behind me putting the flowers down here was I don't have to have this as growing space, like for like actual food production. So I didn't mind letting it just be flowers. But I put the flowers out here with the intention of letting them seed and just letting them like fully mature and self-seed themselves in this space, so that I wouldn't be constantly putting flower seeds out here. So I do it once and just let them have this space from then on. But with all the grass out here, I'm gonna have to clear this out some kind of way to try to get rid of the grass again, which means any seeds that fall are gonna either get pulled out when I start cleaning stuff up, or they're going to get covered up when I cover it. So I'm probably going to lose those. If the sunflowers ever get a chance to really take off, the marigolds too, I'm not necessarily trying to keep the marigolds going. I just put them here because I had them. But the sunflowers, if they really take off, I can collect the seeds off of them and keep them. Same with any of the other stuff that's growing out here. So I just have to kind of keep an eye on it and try to remember to do that, so that I can just spread them out later. Okay, now over here, see that? That's one of the original kale plants. It's kale from the fall. And then again, I put brassicas, broccoli, cauliflower, something over here, and some beets. You see one little section that's doing okay. Most of them are not doing great either. They're just kind of sitting there. And calendula. I think that's calendula, but I feel like it didn't really look the same as that. That was absolutely calendula, and this already dried up. That's pretty. This might be a weed, and I thought it was calendula, so we'll just see. The reason I'm thinking it's a weed is because this one has already flowered and everything, and it's much smaller. But this little patch, it's just been growing, and it hasn't flowered. So that might not be what I thought it was. If that's the case, I'll just pull it out. I have a little volunteer tomato right there. See that? It's a little baby. I think I saw another one somewhere over here. Or I might just be thinking about that one. All right. Here we have garlic that I'm probably going to go ahead and pull out soon. I was thinking about this earlier today or last night or something about going ahead and pulling this, but it just rained. And it's like, I don't know that I want to pull it out with the soil so wet. Because then I'm going to take a lot of soil with me. And it's just going to be a mess. But I do need to go ahead and get these out pretty soon. So, I don't know. Depending on what the rain does today, this rain that's coming, if it doesn't last long, I might try to get back out here later on. So, we'll just see about it. Then we have carrots. That's my main carrot space right there. And they are coming up okay. It was definitely a slow start, but they're doing okay. The onions, same thing, slow start, but they're doing okay. Like that one looks really good. And I've been trying to keep this clean. I've been really trying. It's like that. I don't think it's at the point of really bulbing up yet, but that's probably the biggest one over here so far. But yeah, that's where we are. That is the last of it. Just kind of keeping an eye on things, doing some weeding, a little bit of replanting, like with the carrots and beets. Yeah, that's just kind of it, you know. there's not too much happening. The only thing I've been harvesting, I did get peas before they started, you know, kind of dying. So I have a bag of a little bit of peas in the house. I've been getting kale from the old plants and the new plants, the plants in the one over there. Those kale plants have been producing really well. So I've had kale. I've had a few beets that were in the potato space, not potato space, next to the potatoes. I had beets from over there. And I mean, of course, I had the rutabagas and radish, but those were from last year or early spring, winter. I don't know. Same with those beets. They were from an earlier planting. And like I said, I can start pulling this cabbage when I'm ready, when I need it. I think that's it. I think that's all I've gotten. So I haven't gotten anything out of this space over here. I was just saying, I need to pull the garlic, so I'll have that and the cabbage when I want it. And I think that's gonna be it. So, you know, I got a slow start this year, just you know, of my own doing. And then, you know, all the rain has just compounded that. But as I've said before, either on here or somewhere else, I mean, it'll come when it comes, you know. So far, things aren't really just dying from the water. So, you know, I'm just kind of hoping and holding on to hope that as long as they're still alive now, that they'll just go on and hang on until things, I guess, kind of stabilize, the weather stabilizes a little bit, and they can really get growing. You know, just like I was showing you with the corn, how it's growing, but it was a really slow start because it was just so wet over there. But now, you know, whenever it gets a chance, it grows. You know, like it's picking up. But okay, I think that's gonna be it. Okay, I was not gonna show you the border, and I'm not gonna go through everything over here, but I do want to show you the berries. Strawberries are done, at least for now. There's flowers all over the place, but yeah, they aren't doing anything currently. The blueberries are picking up. Like, I came out here one day and I was like, whoa, I didn't realize they had started turning. So look at that. So, let me see, where was it? Right there. See those right there? So yeah, the blueberries are picking up. I'm gonna need to get out here and take care of those. The blackberries, there's not much on here. If y'all remember, I cut these way back, and so that set them back. There's just not as much on here because I cut some of the stems off that would be heavily producing right now. I mean, it was a sacrifice. I didn't really do it for that purpose, to kind of cut back like that, but I needed to size control this. I do have a plan for the blackberries, so with that, I don't know that I will keep this right here, because when I planted this, I didn't really know the way blackberries grew. So so I don't know. I don't really know what I'm gonna do with this one, but I did take a sprout that came up. I think it came up over here somewhere. I took that out. Oh, I was thinking something smelled funny, but there's some smell in this. But anyway, I took that out and put it in a pot, and I'm planning on having my blackberries somewhere else. For now though, and again, I don't know what I'm going to do with this one. I'll probably still have it here and just keep having it kind of smaller and not so full. But I am going to spread these posts out some more, so it'll actually end up reaching behind the roses. And that'll be that. That'll give it a little more space, because like that over there, that's a vine. That's like a branch off of this. That's not a sprout. It's laying down back there and then growing up. But yeah, so not gonna get as much off of this, but I will get a few. So that'll pick back up whenever I decide what I'm gonna do with it. Look at that. There was a bee on there. Oh, it's flying around over here now. And then here's the other blueberry. This is the pink one. This is the pink lemonade. Let's see. See that? That was good. It was a little tartar. And they'll get a little pinker. They'll get pinker than this. I think that one was better. They will still have some yellow on them though. So I don't know that they ever get fully pink. But yeah. That is actually, this one's doing really well. This is probably the most berries I've had on this one so far. Like my main blueberry over there, the regular blueberry, it usually does pretty good. And then this one will just give me a little bit, but this one actually did pretty good this year. And it's still not just covered, but I think it's doing a lot better than it has done. And all right, now we're done for real. Bye.